Morning all, hope you're all doing well. We've come to the end of week 3 of our student-led PT program. So we just wanted to touch base with you again about a couple of things that we've observed during the week. So the first thing is the exercise order that you're using. So it came to light this week that some people are, if maybe you're doing 2 sets of lat pull downs, that you're doing 1 set, taking a break, doing another set of lat pull downs. Remember we spoke about in class, and maybe people just haven't thought about it, around the idea of you supersetting 2 exercises together that are working opposing muscle groups. In this case, for most of the individuals who are involved in this program are kind of more beginners and they're not very advanced, so we wouldn't be supersetting with the same muscle groups, but we could superset with opposing muscle groups or upper lower or something like that. So think about grouping exercises together like that, or some people are choosing to use the traditional circuit so that you go through each one round of or 1 set of your exercises and then move on to this next set, in terms of you've gone through all your exercises once and then you go through all your exercises again. This really saves time for the clients who are involved with you. It's less awkward because there's no rest time as such. And it's just a really convenient way and really efficient way of doing a session with the client. So have a think about that, and it works for these clients. It works for these clients. So if you have been doing your 2 or 3 sets in a row, taking a break in between sets, have a think about using supersets or a traditional circuit format for your session. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about was, and we've mentioned it several times before and several times in class, around the idea of setting out 2 mats, 1 for you and 1 for the client. When the client is down on the floor, you get down at their level. Okay, so whether that's sitting on the floor beside them or down on 1 knee, but stay at their level so that you're not standing looking over them. It's very difficult to communicate with somebody when you're standing and they're on the floor. So get down to their level, and that's really important. We want to see that in the exam. Okay, the third thing is, you have your clipboard or you have your hardback copy or your session plan, whatever way you have it. Don't feel like you have to hold it all the time. When you're dealing with the clients, like, it should be there at the side, and you run over and you scribble a note in terms of the weight that they're using, or you'll have a glance at it to see what's next. You should know your session, but it's there if you need it. Don't carry the clipboard around with you, because you should be using your arms to visually cue. So when the client is in the exercise, say if it's a shoulder press, you're using your arms to visually cue. Full extension, don't lock out the arms, okay? Bring the weights right down in line with the shoulders, etc., etc. Okay, so you should be using your body in a different way rather than just carrying your session plan. Okay, the next thing is practical assessments are starting next week. So just assume that you're going to be assessed next week. Just assume you are. If you're not assessed next week, assume you're being assessed the following week. Everybody needs to come prepared. We have let your clients know that on the day that you're being assessed, you're going to go back to basics, i.e. you're going to go back and teach them the exercise from the start. So your client may know the exercise at this point, but on the day you're being assessed, you need to go back to basics and teach them the exercises from the start again. We would ask that you bring 2 hard copies of your plan, 1 for you and 1 for whoever is assessing you, myself or Anne Louise. You need to make sure that we have a hard copy. If you can't access a printer, I think Students' Union have a printer that's working. I'm not sure about the rest of the college. If you can't have a printed hard copy, write out a hard copy for us in clear kind of capitals or something, so that we can read what the session is, so that when we tune into your session, we can look at your plan, see where you are and see what it's all about. Okay, so that's a necessity. The other thing is, for you all, I made a video explainer. It's up on Moodle under the practical assessment session, a video explainer explaining about the marking sheet. Okay, so go watch that. But what I really want you to focus on, and what we're noticing, is that people are generally quite quiet while the client is actually doing the exercise. There's 40% of the marks for the practical assessment that are going for observation and correction. So you need to move around, you need to look from different angles what the client's form is like, you need to reinforce the things they're doing well, you need to correct the things they're not doing so well, you need to talk to them about breathing, you need to reinforce the teaching cues for the exercise, you need to reinforce the mind-muscle connection so that they're focusing on the muscle groups that they're trying to engage. You need to talk about breathing, and you need to be a motivator. Okay, so just 3 reps left even. You know, these are the tough ones, but these are the ones that matter, so you need to push through this. Okay, so have a look at the marking sheet and see where the marks are going in terms of teaching exercises and observation and correction once the client is in that exercise. Okay, so pay attention to that. And that is all for me today. Have a good weekend.